Jiggly. Chevrolet.
Yeah, jiggly. Chevrolet. Was there a difference?
Yeah, there is.
Jiggly's like cheers. Chevrolet's like yeah.
No, we're going to get down. Chevrolet.
I'm going to get down tonight.
So, look, how are we all?
100%.
Welcome to the second Europe podcast of this trip. Some of us are looking a little worse for wear. Some of us have a few things on their lip that they want to get off their chest.
I'm never drinking again. I think we're having raki for breakfast.
Are we having raki? Oh my God.
Yes.
Dekie, can you explain what raki is, please?
It's Eastern European moonshine, basically. But apparently it's distilled twice, not once. So it's a little bit cleaner.
Double distilled.
And what does it put in afterwards?
It smells like paint stripper.
They can put flavoring in it. I don't know what it's made from. I think wheats, but...
So it tastes like flavoured maple syrup. No, flavoured methylated spirits.
Yeah.
But I have no real idea. But yeah, I first had it when I came to Bulgaria in 2019, and I was like, dude, this shit's sick. And so I was excited to try it again.
Can I ask a question? Because I've heard you talk about terms like Balkans and you've come to Bulgaria. Why did you come to Bulgaria and what is that beeping noise?
Microwave. Tanya's work, so I just came along.
Tanya's what?
Work.
Oh, work.
Yeah. They have like an office over there.
Oh, wow. So you got to be the first lady. Nice. Was it enjoyable?
It's really enjoyable, very nice. And there's a pub in Sofia, Bulgaria called Sterling.
Oh, we're going to go?
We should.
Yeah.
If we go to Bulgaria.
If we go to... we forgot.
Now,
We might.
okay, so maybe last time we had a podcast, it was just before we closed Bobo Kutev.
And that was a complete failure.
It was a complete failure. Why was it a complete failure?
Because the road was snowed over and frozen. We couldn't get to the mountain.
It led to an unplanned adventure that...
We only just fixed today.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd have it displayed on the table, but we don't. That's okay. People at Spotify won't understand.
Someone fix that beep.
Fixing beep. Everyone talk amongst yourselves. Where's the beep coming from?
We as a team smashed the drone. And
By we mean
Jared and Dekie.
Micheal and Dekie, I was not part of this. But on the bright side, it led to an amazing adventure.
Bonding, ice bathing.
Ice bathing, getting naked. Our first time getting naked as a crew together.
That's what you guys think.
Outdoors.
Okay, thank you.
But it was good fun. No, the actual getting to Montenegro, and then we filmed the podcast there. That night we went out for dinner and the food was delicious.
It was.
And then we were like, we're gonna do big mountain climb the next day. We were all hyped, all our gear was prepped. We were like, we were ready to take on Everest.
And we were coming with like a vengeance too, because we just failed Karabi and we knew we needed to get a summit because you can't have a mountain climbing trip without climbing mountains.
Try the coffee machine? I don't know.
Where's it coming from?
Plug it all.
Just turn everything off, including the coffee machine. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, the Montenegrin food was good. Wasn't my favorite meal though.
What was your favorite meal so far?
I think it was those two soups I had
The bills and the goulash?
at the Low Star Bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, something was actually decent from Mostar.
Yeah.
Sorry to any Mostar viewers.
Mozart's a great place.
They have some very quality persons there.
We can't put the entire town's reputation on one guy.
And the bridge.
But have I talked about how much I fucking hate Tirana and Martin?
Toronto was good.
No, they're making a joke. It's a joke. I love Tirana, not Martin.
But he was doing a reference. My God,
You guys probably can't hear this beep, but we just constant beep. Pull the microwave out, pull the kettle out. You got to find it, Michael.
Undo the.
you guys continue.
It's the dishwasher.
Where's the dishwasher? We have a dish.
If any of you guys have seen Better Call Saul and the brother where he's like ripping the power leads out of the walls to try and find the power source, that's us right now on that beep.
Right. No. So we did jump around a bit. Did we explain our ice adventure and why we went through an ice adventure? I don't remember.
We crashed a drone.
Okay.
We crashed a drone. We had to go get it, which led to a lot of people getting wet, and then us all getting wet.
I like it.
Well, I feel like I'm kind of the most neutral party in this whole situation.
Of course you would, Canada.
So I will lay out my side of the story, and then...
Where the fuck did I get like thrown in under the bus and doing something wrong in this story?
No. I'm the neutral. So there's two sides of the story, right?
It's my fault because I bought the drone.
And then I think maybe all three parties can have their chance to deliberate.
All right.
So what happened? So we crossed this bridge. Obviously, it's a great drone shot spot. So we pull over and we're getting some drone shots.
Someone's big idea to fly the drone under the bridge, which I was okay with, I guess.
Yeah, we're going over the bridge. We're going under the bridge. I'm just going to lay out the facts here. Dekie was driving. Micheal was directing.
Piloting.
Yes.
Use the correct term.
He was piloting. Very smooth. From what I saw, he was using those gamer thumbs and just like...
They weren't gamer thumbs. They were love-making thumbs. There is a complete difference.
He was using those love thumbs and just moving this thing around. Like he was making love in the air. It was a great thing to watch. Me and Paul turn around.
I was in the middle of sending a video message to my wife, explaining how these guys were flying the drone around, and Micheal was teaching Dekie how to fly.
Dekie already knew how to fly.
That Paul seemed a little bit concerned about the whole situation where we were driving the drone. But this is what I remember happening. Me and Paul were looking at the river, and I was saying, hey, down that river would be a great place to make Micheal go for a swim because it looks really cold down there.
Which I replied, that's a great idea. We should definitely drive down there after the bridge.
Exactly. So about probably 30 seconds later, we're walking around and Micheal says, oh, we should go drive down to the lower level. And we're thinking, yeah, that's a great idea. That's what we were thinking. And then we said, well, Micheal, what do you want to do down there? And he says, oh, it'll be much easier to retrieve the drone. And then just casually walks to the car. And we start walking to the car, and then it takes a couple seconds before it clicks. And we're like, retrieve the drone. So we have to go get the drone. Everyone, me and Dekie take off running right away. I'm pumped for adventure. I think Dekie was a little nervous because he was the pilot, obviously taking responsibility there. We all end up in the water at some point, but the drone gets found.
So what part of me is not neutral on this?
I'm just saying that there's two sides of the story. So
where does he have the blame?
I think when we all collectively lost his phone, I think he collectively crashed that drone.
Micheal lost my phone. Micheal left my phone behind.
Let me lay out the two sides of the story. I think Dekie and Micheal are on the side where it's instrument error. There was something that went wrong with the drone that resulted in the crash. Whereas Paul is on the side where it was operator error. So someone was either driving recklessly or someone was directing someone.
The instruments wouldn't have failed if the pilot hadn't have put the drone in a situation where the instruments could fail.
That's a very valid point. And please deliberate in the comments as well, guys.
Yes, who did lose Paul's phone?
Micheal did.
So maybe
It was a collective.
as the pilot, maybe you could give
Micheal left my phone in France,
France.
in Greece,
The story's falling apart.
and then everyone else didn't help look for it when we lost it.
But I have to say, you had the phone last, my love. You gave it to me, put on charge. Then you're like, Micheal, I need my phone to see if I can get the Twitch thing working. Gave you the phone. That was the end of it.
But when we used it for the live stream,
That was when you had the phone last.
Yeah.
But Micheal lost it.
turning into like a fight with your girlfriend where
This is quite the hostile podcast today.
well, you never emptied the dishwasher. We're talking about driving right now.
Yeah, but you're right. You are the neutral one. I love that's how you started it, though. It wasn't my fault, so I'm going to judge from afar. These three, though.
Listen. He almost got us killed on karate.
We're not talking about that right now, all right? We're talking about the drone.
Not to mention the second or third, which mountain were we at?
That was all under control. On Dinar, that was under control.
That was under control? Have you seen the footage? That's not under control.
Well, I mean, that's not navigation. That was just time.
Manageable.
Yeah.
no, there was two times I thought, Jared, what the fuck are you doing? One he was like walking right along the cliff edge, and the burra was so fucking violent. And like any strong gust and he's off balance, he's gone. That was the first one. The second one, he walked straight towards the cliff with his phone out like this, and he's like, and he stops right at the edge and goes, Do I go down here? And I'm like, Jared, we're not fucking going that way.
All right, well, what was happening is my goggles were completely frozen over. It was complete whiteout conditions. So I was looking through like a tiny slit at the bottom of my goggles.
Should we go back and actually explain?
In a minute. So
The drone.
my only bit of navigation was my phone, and I'm just making sure we're following this green line on the GPS. And my hands are freezing. My eyeballs are icing over.
Before we started this trip, Jared put his hand up and said, I'm okay with taking charge of like making sure we know where we're going, what we're doing on the mountains, the weather, everything.
I don't know.
He did during the meetings.
Maybe I did.
I remember saying to you, Jared, I need you to be in charge of looking at mountain stuff because I have no idea what I'm doing. I remember saying that one.
Yeah.
Listen, we got Abdanara, but we've totally changed the order of what we're doing in this.
Okay, let's go back to the drone.
We finished the drone. We had a...
No, because I never got to defend myself.
Okay, sorry.
It's not about defending myself. It's about admitting that it was my fault.
It's about explaining the truth.
That's maturity. Is when you make a mistake, you have to own it. Sometimes.
Right, cheers.
That's why Michael just fucking say you lost my phone.
Okay, sorry. I lost Paul's phone.
I agree.
Man, I would be clicking off this podcast right now with you guys eating with your mouths or talking with your mouths full. God, I'm already mad. This is getting worse and worse.
What the fuck am I gonna say?
What? Just don't eat it. Okay. Are we drunk right now? So it was my fault. I was in control of the stick. Mm-hmm. I had the stick. I was controlling it. I did not I ran forward into a wall. It wasn't a situation like that. Michael and I had been doing this together. He had been directing, I had been flying, and he came to me with the idea. He says, do you want to fly it down to the bottom and then come up and get like this rising shot? And I was like, yes. So
good.
So I did, and I put it right in the middle of this valley. Wasn't like close to a wall, wasn't doing anything wrong. Lowered it down nice and slow. We got it down probably 20 meters or 20 feet above the ground. And then Michael says,
oh no.
It says you have no GPS connection. And I was all like, oh no. And so I'm just like, I stop the controls because a drone hovers. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to touch anything. We'll let the synchronization of the orbital GPS satellites come to alignment, and they didn't. Instead, the drone just immediately was just like.
We kind of just watched going, oh no.
And just went and drifted into a wall multiple times and flipped upside down and hit the ground.
It did.
That's not how I remember it at all.
Yeah, because you were on the phone with your wife.
So I was on the top of the bridge. Standing there with Jared with my phone recording a message to my wife. And I hear there's two people in the background mischievously going, let's see how fast we can fly into the wall. Paul won't realise. And then all I hear is like them giggling as they turn around and look at me and go, we need to go down to the bottom. So,
the way I remember it was we haven't seen much wildlife, and we were flying the drone down there.
Wait.
And,
why wasn't any of this recorded?
And a raccoon jumped on it because you get raccoons in this country. And
the fur is definitely not imported.
And yeah, it was just so out of our control. It wasn't any GPS. Right, it was a raccoon, and it just.
You guys might be thinking, well, you know what? This thing happened, but we got a cool adventure. We got some great footage out of it. What did the footage look like, guys?
Well, I addressed this yesterday in some questions we recorded. Michael has a lot of work. Yeah. It's called admin is what they refer to it as. Yeah. And it's like uploading videos, labeling videos. And there's been a few instances myself and Jared have maybe had a longer GoPro video than we need to, because usually we're doing like 30 seconds or less.
But sometimes you're hanging off the edge of a cliff and it's hard to press stop on the video.
But also sometimes it's at the very start of a journey and you press it like, oh, I think that works, and then you put it in your pocket and it's 11 minutes of just
so I've been trying to minimize any long footage, and I was all like, well, we're just lowering the drone down there. I don't need footage of it going down there, so I'm definitely not going to film this. Mm-hmm. So I was just trying to be mindful so that Michael wouldn't have extra work. So it was, in fact, not recording the great crash that did take place.
I do have a screenshot of it.
Well, that counts. But it was my fault because I was in control. And I stick with that. I had the controller, even though it wasn't me like, driving into a wall. I was in control. Michael might have directed me, but it's still responsible for the pilot. Response.
When you described in the questions that we filmed,
You guys need a bum already.
we've already done it. You said we were bonding.
Yeah,
it was
really was.
a bonding.
It really was.
And those are some of the best cinematographic shots that people are going to see out of any kind of drone footage on a DJI Mini.
People understand what we experienced, and it was like, you know, the movie Avatar.
It also people laugh.
Oh, when they put their tails together.
Oh, they're docking tails.
So when we docked tails, I felt like we docked tails, and my pupils just went.
You had my heart and my soul.
Yeah,
You are before the water and after it and in between.
I had your legs on my shoulders.
So yes, that is the outcome.
But I was going to say, maybe it's not necessarily. Maybe it's a bit like the end of The Notebook, where we both just die because we bonded so much, and maybe we both fall in our own.
You just ruined the Notebook for me.
Well, you've not seen The Notebook? No. Well, it's been quite a while. I think that's your own fault.
Spoiler alert in John Wick.
No, wait. If you want to know about John Wick stuff, BPBs. Anyway.
Yeah, but no, let's move on. We found a zip line. That was fun.
Yeah.
I actually thought Dekie would scream.
No, but he's a zip line master chief.
Zipline experts. Terminology.
What?
I called you a Master Chief in my video.
Yeah, I liked that.
Okay.
Zip line master.
Expert, I think.
He said zip line master.
I've done a zip line before.
Yeah.
I knew what I was in for.
It was good.
I took care of it.
It didn't look legitimate when they had like.
That guy with massive hands hooking us up.
It didn't look like it had been used in 20 years.
Yeah, and I haven't really thought about the guy with the massive hands. Now I kind of want to watch the footage.
The old man or the guy that went down?
The old man. The older man.
Those are old, you know.
Remember right when we were about to start, we were all in the tower and he's like grabbing, he started talking to me about something. And I was like, what is he saying? Like, it wasn't even semi like, oh, I think he means this. It was just like, I have zero idea.
Legs down.
Man, legs down.
That confused the shit out of me. I was expecting him to do this at the end. Didn't do it.
No.
I was like, oh, I don't know when to bring my legs up now. And I'm very certain that like my head hit the handles the first time I stopped.
It did.
Yeah.
He had a helmet.
It was like super concerning when you're like cruising into this guy and you see him like furiously pulling this rope to try and get it set up to stop you.
And as well, on the second part, is the furious pulling of the ropes connected to a dumpster on wheels next to a cliff. That's not good. So
Yeah.
no, zip line was good. Then we made it into Bosnia.
Wait.
Didn't wait.
With the zipline dude, we didn't even talk about this. He had a boot full of guns in his car.
What's a boot full
So
of?
at the bottom of the zip line,
They drive you back up.
yeah, in his like personal vehicle.
I wasn't in that car. He drove me up.
It wasn't like AKs. It was like hunting rifles and hunting cases. We didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't see it as alarming, but I am from America.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of rifles.
I mean, we just trusted him with our life too.
So we headed to Bosnia,
We did.
crossed the border crossing, and the guy's like, next 14 kilometres,
Shit.
shit road. He wasn't.
I wasn't expecting these roads. These roads were pretty shit.
He was like,
He goes, next 14 kilometres, shit road, then okay. And so we and he was actually pretty cool.
He was the nicest border crossing person we've
he had
had.
a full chat with us.
Yeah, it was really good.
Anyway, so we drive on this first 14 kilometres. I was expecting potholes and a bit of dirt every now and then. I didn't expect the road missing.
Yeah, that was quite concerning when there's like a front end loader and a bunch of trucks pouring dirt to try and make up the road so we can get across. And like, fuck.
And so they actually literally had a truck just dumping dirt so then a tractor could level out the road so we could actually cross the road because on the other side of it was a cliff.
Yeah, so they would dump a load, flatten it, let all the traffic go, and then repeat the process.
It was good. You don't get that type of work in Australia.
No, you get like 14 guys standing around smoking.
Yeah. And the road would have just been, that whole road would have just been condemned. Like, there's no way a car would have been on it. But we went on it.
Really happy we decided to drive for the entire trip pretty much.
We've seen so much more, and you've experienced it. You too, or even Jared got to experience driving.
I know what a good road is.
You too. You can appreciate what a good road is.
Jared can now.
I can as well. Yeah.
When that guy said bad roads, the life drained out of Pest eyes. He was all like,
I was like getting the goggles on. I was like, I see this.
I wonder what the speed limits are going to be. I don't know why I held a gaming controller.
Bosnia had the best speed limit so far.
They have?
Yeah. They had highways that were good highways that were 130 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And they had shit roads that were 50 kilometers an hour. Whereas like Albania,
It's kind of the opposite.
Montenegro, you could have a beautiful like motorway with 2 lanes each way, 70.
Wow.
And you're like, what?
But people are going 130.
Yeah. And then the cops just say, hey.
If you've got a nice road story and you enjoy roads and speed limits, please put it in the comments.
I like roads.
Also, I want to hear the verdict of who you think is guilty in the whole drone debacle.
They'll probably just say it's a collective, or you. I bet you they're going to say it's you.
It clearly wasn't me.
No. So, yes.
Yes. Not say it to me because they said I bought it and brought it here and then told you guys to use it at some point.
No, I think we were the ones that were like, let's use it. We were pretty careful.
Oh yeah, he sure was.
Well, there was a lot of requests to pull over for the drone shot.
And I did.
And we did. Fine.
And you made up this big bullshit that I went like 50 kilometers past.
70 kilometers.
Well, we missed a really good place for a drone shot. Yeah, that bridge was like fucking 3 out of 10 compared to that.
Oh my God, he's right. I would have preferred to lose the drone in the 10 out of 10 spot. That's the place I would have liked.
Yeah, it would have been filming.
Yeah. Bosnia. Now, I have to say, we were arriving in Sarajevo,
And driving into that city.
but before we get to the roads, that is one of the most amazing, picturesque, like, for me, it was awe-inspiring, just looking like, holy cow, this is incredible. I've never seen a city like this, all going down into the valley. Very picturesque.
Yeah, so when you load up Google Maps and say, take me there on the fastest route, you expect it to be like the main roads. But they were like, no, got a faster way, mate.
You're going down this guy's alley through a driveway.
This, I shit you not, we were on the side of a cliff going down these like there were single lane roads with the houses on both sides. Both, like it wasn't just one way though. And I was driving down them and I don't know how we got down.
I thought they were one way because it was like all these cars
But then a
coming
car
up.
came behind me and I was like, well, I guess I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. And the taxi driver told us that the roads were built for horses. That's why they're so small.
But yeah, I somehow got down the side of this mountain through all these back streets and it'll be in our footage somewhere, but holy moly, that was stressful.
Well, no, actually, to be honest, I wasn't even driving and I felt very stressed.
I was worried that I'd have to reverse back up the mountain.
Yeah, that's that. And I don't even think you could have turned. Like, there's no.
No, there was nowhere to pull in.
Yeah. So,
I just got out and walked.
yeah, that was freaky. But Sarajevo is an incredible city with lots of history.
Favorite city yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best city.
Yeah, it was really good.
Why was it the best city?
Mixture of cultures. Yeah. It's got, a lot of Muslim influence. Very, very rich history of terrible things. Olympics.
Very recent.
That's not the terrible thing. The Olympics is fine.
Olympics.
It was the best Olympics up to that date.
Of Sarajevo? Or
Winter Olympics.
Oh, really?
The best Olympics. Voted the best Olympics until that day.
Wow.
Well, we can get into the Olympics. They're kind of a scam.
That's what I was saying.
The athletes get no money.
Oh.
And like me and Paul were discussing, they completely destroy the city after. Like they pump it full for like 4 years, build all these giant recreation facilities. And now like in Brazil, they're using it as a bus station. Yeah. It's massive.
I don't think that was the Olympics, though. That was FIFA.
Same idea. At least there's the players get
Big, giant sporting event.
They used it. They used one of the FIFA stadiums in Brazil as a bus parking area.
And they're sponsored by Coke and McDonald's.
What's wrong with that?
That's, that's what
Have you drank a Coke in your life?
high performance athletes use every day before they train. That's how they sup up. I want a McNugget and a Coke.
It's indoctrinating the youth, though. They're like, I want to be Michael Phelps. I'm going to eat Subway.
Wait, when did Subway get involved?
He's sponsored by Subway, I think. Well, he was.
Subway's not healthy? Oh.
He went up the deep end, too. In Ireland, Subway is considered a pastry because there's so much sugar in the bread. So it has to be in a different tax thing. It can't be taxed as food. It has to be taxed as dessert.
I like this. Our little conspiracy.
He's filled with so many
It's
little fun
great.
facts.
It's something little.
So 9/11.
Well, let me tell you about George Bush.
I'd happily listen, but okay, maybe not.
I don't know anything concrete about that. I just got a few theories myself.
We need to have a talk. Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the car ride is
Maybe when
going
we have a bad week of like nothing actually happening.
we'll just do conspiracy.
We'll do a conspiracy theory. Maybe we'll get a conspiracy theorist.
Well, we've already got Jared.
Listen. Facts aren't a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I love this.
See, I don't talk about the conspiracy theories. I just list the facts, and then you can make the decision for yourself.
God, I'm very interested in that now. Fuck our Europe trip. I want to hear about all these things.
Well, let's just say the U.S. benefited greatly after 9/11. That's just a fact.
So we're in Sarajevo. We try their local dish, which is like
The dessert one or the Javapi?
Javapi, which
It was good the first time.
it was good.
Nobody said it was good.
No, I have to say it was like I was hungry and there was a lot of onion.
So I don't understand the onion part. The rest of it I'm fine with. I could eat that every day.
But it's the onion, like the raw onion, like that's
It needed some sauce too.
onions like
Mustard.
onions like the herpes of food. Like raw onion is, it just stays forever in your mouth. The next morning you're like, oh, I've still got it.
Garlic?
Nah, raw onion's worse in my opinion. Okay. Though I'll eat some raw garlic and I'll give you an update.
Go ahead and describe it for the people that aren't familiar with Savapi.
A pita bread, which is, a large burger size that's cut in half. And then it's stuffed with far too many sausages without skin.
Really thick little finger sausages.
They're like, I think they're called Jabufta cheese or something like that. They're
Beef, not pork.
yeah, there's too many. You look at that and go, that's splitting the pita bread. It's quite graphic. And then a big giant spoonful of chopped onion that looks like they poured oil on it and put it on something hot but quickly took it off. And then you just have to eat it.
Yeah, so I ate it like a sandwich.
Oh yeah, because I thought that as well.
And people were like looking at me across the whole area and was like, all right. And then social media was also looking at me sideways. Mm-hmm. So apparently, you're actually meant to eat it with a fork or sausages and then rip the bread with your hands and eat it. And what do you do with the onion? Still don't understand it.
I tried to put the onion in it.
You know what I would like?
What?
Just put some tomato sauce in there, ketchup, and just eat it like a Bunnings snag.
Yeah.
Why would they even stuff it if you're supposed to eat the pork?
I think they want the flavors and the juices of the sauce.
That makes sense. I totally get that with how I eat pizza.
But the juices, there weren't many juices in those
I
sausages.
don't know.
So you brought up garlic. I had a traumatic event happen to me with garlic.
Okay. All right, we're
So-
veering off. Let's
I think
go.
I was in grade 4.
Oh my.
And every
Have you heard
morning,
of my corn thing?
we'll hear it after.
No, I just got curious because we could talk about it.
So every morning, my parents would send me to school with a little water bottle, right? Just a refillable water bottle. And I'd drink it throughout the day. So it's like first period, and I'm going to take a big swig of this water bottle, and I get a massive sensation of garlic in my mouth. And it's like the strongest thing I've ever tasted. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I opened my thing.
You said that when you were in year 4?
Yeah, something like that. And there was a giant... There's a giant chunk of garlic that was stuck to the bottom of the lid of my water bottle. And because it would been put through the dishwasher, but something had like sprayed onto it and it had like caked on there. So I have this like burning garlic sensation in my mouth and it's like on fire. And I'm raising my hand. I'm like, can I please go get a drink of water, please? And my teacher's like, no, you have your water bottle on your desk. You can drink that. You're trying to waste time and get out of class. And I'm sitting there like tears welling up my eye and it's like burning this garlic sensation. I can't drink my water because all I smell is garlic when I drink it.
Wow. Okay. So if we have anything with garlic in it, do you start to like have PTSD about the
No,
teacher again?
but for years I couldn't touch garlic. I'm good with it now.
I know what that was like.
Tell us about your corn story.
I told you, haven't I?
I think you have. Tell the corn story.
I was staying with my uncle and aunt and cousin. Yep. At a caravan park. I was trying to figure it out. Like it's a little bit to get through the brain, you know. This is back. This is quite. I was quite young.
What were the roads like?
We're staying at a caravan park, and we're having dinner, and there was like just normal dinner, like vegetables, bit of meat, and there was a big pile of corn.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the corn, but my uncle said you have to eat it, and I was like, but I don't want to.
You didn't just like that corn or any corn? You're not big on corn?
Hear me out. So the corn's there, And I'm like, it's making me like want to hurl. But he goes, I had to eat it. And like, obviously, he respects your elders. I was young. He was very like, he was my uncle. So I eat the corn, but I was like hurling up the whole time. Like, lovely sound. I can't eat raw, like straight corn now. Corn from the cob? Nothing. It's like scarred me.
But was that particular corn bad?
No, the corn was fine.
You just don't like corn. Huh. Weird.
Yeah.
You know, it was,
So when it like this, the whole garlic thing, I think if you like torture someone with something, they don't like it from that point on.
I didn't like it for a long time. Last night I was drinking my beer and a piece of corn came into my mouth because I was eating that quesadilla and holding my beer like this and a piece of corn had fallen into it. I didn't notice. And I was like, why the fuck is there a piece of corn in my mouth?
It is a craft beer.
Yeah. It's like, this is interesting.
No, I don't really have any food stories.
Yeah, me either.
Well, you're yeah, I don't know what yours is just a weird concept. But no, we're at Sarajevo. We ate the thing with the onion. We met a very interesting man who sold hats.
We met his son first.
We met his son. Well, there you go. There's the story. We're going to start with the punchline, everyone, and then we're going to give you the rest of the joke. We met a man's son who's a fan. Great. We didn't know he was a son. So just imagine this. Just imagine you're about to receive this information for the first time. We don't know that this is a son of a man.
Well, I would have started with meeting the son first. We met up with some guys and then we went to the hat store and met this man.
Exactly.
So we went out for dinner with some guys that sent me a message on Instagram, said, hey, let's catch up and if you've got some time. And I was like, yep, done. Let's go out for dinner. Went to I'm going to do the speed run of this.
Yeah, you guys are going to love this. It's going to blow your mind.
Oh my God.
Well, we've told the story a lot so far.
So we went out for dinner, had a bit of food with these guys. Anyway, next day, traveling around Sarajevo, these guys decided they wanted to buy a hat from this wool store. They spend out 4,000 hours in there, finally just make a decision, but we don't buy it then. We go back the next day, They decided they want to get the hat then. After that, I decided I want to buy a hat and also get something for my wife. But my wife wasn't awake at the time, so I had to make sure I got the jacket that she wanted, so I had to wait for her to give me a response. So I go back the next day. The next day, I find out that it was a poncho, not a jacket, so then I messaged my wife, and my wife's like, yep, I want it, but I couldn't get it because the guy was already finished for the work for the day, so I gave him my number. And because he had my number, I caught up with that night, got the poncho off him. He was all good with that. Later on that night, we go back. We're about to leave Sarajevo the next day. And he sends me a message of the guy I was sitting next to at dinner on the first night. And then he had another zoomed in photo of that guy that I was sitting next to at dinner on the first night. And he sends me a voice message saying, that man sitting next to you is my youngest son.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. We had spent actually more time with the father than the son.
Yeah. That's the real punchline of this story is we spent about 8 hours with the father over the course of 3 days.
Yeah. Whilst the son is a huge fan of Paul, but we're just like, wool hats. So yeah, that's the gentleman we met, Marshall.
I think I did a pretty good job of explaining.
That was a really good speed run.
Really
You might want to watch that on like 0.75 speed, but
Yeah.
If you don't speak English, you're fucking just going to skip it.
No, we had a great experience. We had another fan let us tour around, Mr. Meister, Haran.
Buttmaster.
Yeah, he showed us around.
the Woodmaster.
The Woodmaster.
Buttmeister was actually great, especially after our Martin experience. Major respect to Buttmeister.
Yeah.
He was a great tour guide. He wasn't too intrusive. He let us kind of like lead the way at some points. And
He led us. We were just leading the way, like, we'll go this way. And he's like,
yeah.
We walked down the bobsled track, the old one that was abandoned which was awesome. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated he gave me his political views off camera. So
On socialism.
Yeah.
I won't say what the views were. But
Okay, cool. We got to see an observation tower that had been pretty much decimated by the war, which was pretty cool.
And also the tunnels.
I think
the tunnels were great.
Tunnels were cool.
They were very eye-opening,
shocking.
very shocking. And then all that footage was very overwhelming to see what people went through only like 30 years ago.
It wasn't even that long. Yeah. Wasn't it early 2000s?
No, it was 1996 the war finished.
Early 90s.
And then it went for 3.5 years, the siege of Sarajevo.
and Iron Maiden did a concert while the city was under siege.
Yeah. Which is pretty insane. But no, very eye-opening. We are very, very fortunate. I think Australians take a lot of stuff for granted. That's just me speaking for Australia in general. After seeing a lot of the history that Eastern Europe in general has gone through. I know as an Australian, I've complained about things and taken for granted because we don't have a as tragic history of recent times.
You know what I think? I think Australians just need to travel more.
Yeah.
But it's so expensive. Like this whole trip, we don't go about full details of financials, but the majority of the money we've spent has been getting us to Europe. The flights were like $10,000 for 4 people from different parts of the world to get us all to Europe and back was like 10 grand.
Yeah.
So this is Australian, so like $6 US.
Yeah.
But like, it's a lot of money. And then if you had like wife and kids and
Yeah, I did. That's why I left them behind.
Yeah.
Stuff them.
but yeah, after Bosnia, we go to Croatia.
We do.
And like, you know,
And we're keen.
I'm going to skip most of that. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
We had a great meal, but I don't think it was just the food. The atmosphere in that place was fucking great.
Yeah. When you find an actual proper pub in these countries, it's awesome.
Music sucked.
You were loving the music in there.
At the in Mostar?
Yeah.
No. I was loving the music at the burger place in Canaan.
Yeah, we were.
Those are some good remixes as well.
Great covers.
It kind of reminded me of Triple J's. Why not? No, not understand.
No.
Like a version.
Like a version.
It kind of reminded me of that.
We're skipping, man, this has been the most chaotic podcast we could have ever done. But we're skipping some major facts about,
Dinara.
well, no, Bosnia. We didn't, Maglić. So Maglić is the highest mountain of Bosnia, which we had planned to climb. And as soon as we came into Bosnia, well, we had just been defeated on trying to do Bobatev. So we had immediately come to Bosnia.
Two mountain.
We weren't ready to be hurt again.
Bobatev the road was covered in snow. We couldn't even get to it. And then like some snowmobile guys were like, you're not climbing that shit. So
Yeah, we would have made it.
So
I suggested we hike to the mountains, 6Ks, and then climb it. You could have at least looked at it.
That's how you suggest every mountain.
we get to Bosnia, but we had already kind of written off Maglić. It was going to be it's a little bit bigger climb, more stuff going on with
Technical.
it. Yeah, and then we also talked to the border crossing guard, and he's all like, "Oh fuck no, nobody's climbing that shit right now."
We didn't think we could actually get to the start point.
Yeah. So Maglić was already off the table. We never even got to see Maglić, which was very sad. We saw Bobatev from far.
We actually drove straight past it. It was very
We
close.
didn't know.
So
That was near
didn't
the
see.
terrible Bosnian roads at the start.
Yeah. So we didn't do the Bosnian mountain. We didn't even attempt. Croatia.
So we stayed in a place called
Kinin.
Which I got word from the taxi driver is an extremely depressed town that hasn't quite recovered from the war.
it's a student town.
Yeah, but it was very lovely when we were there.
Good place.
Yeah.
Good castle.
You go through that town and you think everything is closed, and then you go into a building and there's people like filled with people.
So maybe it's just because it was fucking cold outside.
It's really cold. There was a bull.
There was a bull run.
So yeah, we went and explored the castle. That was the first time we all slept in the same room.
It was so great. I want to do that every time.
Oh, we're sleeping. Oh, yeah, we are too.
We're sleeping on the floor.
We are. We're sleeping in Perfector's floor.
Yeah, one of our patrons sent us a message. Hey, you can sleep on our floor in our apartment if you want.
He's paying us to stay at his house.
Hopefully this isn't the last podcast you ever see from us.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that.
Jared's got 3 knives now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kinem was a beautiful little town. It kind of reminded me of like the Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
For some reason, I don't know. They had that building vibe to it.
Beautiful little town. And then he says Chernobyl. Well,
That didn't look like it to me, but I get maybe the feel of it.
No, just the buildings.
it was very dark, gloomy, and somewhat feeling abandoned.
It was quite sunny when we went to the top of the castle. It was windy as fuck, but it was sunny.
Yeah. The castle was cool.
The castle was great.
Castle was awesome.
It ticked off everything of Paul's dreams of a castle.
Moat, drawbridge,
Secret entrance.
secret entrance, a cave where they would store gunpowder.
Yeah.
Old.
Old.
Yeah, it failed on one thing.
They put some new stuff in it.
Yeah, they were like restoring it, but they restored like all the original stuff, and then they're like, oh, let's build all this extra shit.
Yeah.
And so they were just building all these extra buildings inside there that meant to look old, but they weren't really old.
But I don't think we were meant to be in any of those areas.
Around the construction part.
No, I think it was fine for us to go there, to be honest. Yeah.
But we looked at every single square inch of that castle.
Yeah.
And what did we notice at the top of the castle?
The wind.
We did notice the wind.
But that was unusual. That was 30 to 40.
Yeah, we weren't climbing in 30 to 40.
we were
Well,
climbing in
no, the
50.
weather was at the top of Dinara. It was going to be about 30 kilometre winds at the top. So at the top, you're sitting there going, this is about 30 kilometre. This is bearable at the top. Like we could handle this at the top. So yeah.
Why are you looking at me? I don't make the fucking weather forecast.
No, you don't.
I literally just read them out to you guys.
Correct.
I've never lied.
No, you haven't.
And I would always go on the side of caution. You know this now.
Correct.
We definitely know now. But we were expecting 15 to 20 down the bottom, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did notice at the top it was windy, but it was and we could see Dinara in the background. That was cool. And
It was covered in a cloud.
It was.
And the cloud didn't move the entire time we were at the castle, which was a little bit ominous.
It was.
It was just circling.
yeah, it's a little bit, it was a little bit like when Sauron covers his troops with a cloud.
You know when you play a video game and there's like that like mist that like covers an area and it doesn't clear until you defeat the boss?
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, what a boss.
Oh, yeah.
So next morning,
I got a message that night saying there's a Bura coming tomorrow, which is like a Croatian like blizzard, and you should be very careful going up.
And we all.
And I replied back saying, it's all good, I've checked the weather.
And he also told us there were snakes on the mountain.
yeah, that's probably what took us off like, oh, this is kind of a bit of a BS.
There was not a living thing on that mountain.
Nothing survived.
I saw shit.
You saw a what?
I saw some like animal shit.
Oh, animal shit. I thought you-
Yeah, from last summer. It had been frozen up there in the Arctic wind.
Yeah, so the forecast was meant to be about 0 degrees at the bottom, -7 at the top, with a wind chill about -15 to 20.
That's doable.
It's chilly, but it's doable.
This mountain was a difficult levelty of 2 out of 5, and an enjoyment level of 3 out of 5.
And by the way, 3 of us have what I would say is some of the best headwear possible for climbing in Arctic winds.
Yep.
Thanks to our friend in Sarajevo, Marshall.
The dad. 3 of us have some of the best goggles.
One of them does it. But yeah, we went up. I live streamed it. Unfortunately, the live stream kept, I think, freezing over. But we got most of it live streamed until the higher points.
We got the important part live stream.
We got the important part, and you've got some good footage on the GoPro as well. But what we realised, I think, we got to the castle. It was a bit windy, but I thought we're in a bit of an open area. It's fine. It kind of died down a bit, and then we crossed into that big plain area, and I was like, holy fuck, this is a lot of wind.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit cold from that point.
The only time I had any concern, like actual legitimate concern, besides him obviously walking on a cliff edge, was when we walked into that snow area on the top, high winds, and it didn't matter what direction you looked, you couldn't tell how high something was, how low something was. If there was a slope, it was going to go to your death. If you slipped, it was just complete whiteout. And I was like, well, Michael's wearing blue, so I'll just follow him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably about 6 times where I'm like, the summit's right there.
And we go to it and we're like, nope. And we just start pointing that way. So that I was concerned when we got to a point and I was like, oh, we finally reached it. And I thought we were about to do something. And then everybody started walking really fast down. I was like, why are we walking downhill? Is this not the summit? And then we went into a bunch of bushes and we're like, what the fuck are we doing in these bushes? Like, where's the trail? And I couldn't see anything. It was great. Good time.
We went slightly off track, but we made it to the top.
We did. And what a relieving feeling.
We touched that big red box and we got inside her.
Box.
There was what do you call it? Like a refuge? What do you call that?
It was like a phone booth. It was a phone booth on the top, yeah.
But it was a really warm phone
It was a great phone booth. A fantastic phone.
It was only warm because it just took the wind chill away.
Yeah.
And it was
What we
amazing.
needed.
Let's go back to the kind of the temperatures that we were dealing with once we got there. Because none of us, I felt like, were like at a quitting stage. We're like, oh, we shouldn't do this. Because we had been defeated by Krabi. There was no, I was going to die on that mountain. And so like we had been cruising up and I think we had all been like, this wind is alarming. maybe we should be a little more concerned about what's going on, but we're not because we're going to summit this mountain.
During this part of the podcast, can we just have like, Nafa, can you just put like a video of actually the wind that we're talking about so people can get perspective?
Yeah.
And yeah, we had also made the group decision we're not taking crampons. And I think that was the right choice. There were a couple of parts where I was like, well, maybe we made the wrong choice because we definitely got to some icy parts. And at that part, I was scared because I was all like, we're not that high up on the mountain and we got solid like ice patches that we need to cross on a slope. And we don't have anything, to really stick into it. And I was like, if we run into like a massive one of these up top, we're going to be screwed. Yeah. But we didn't. So it was a couple of those. We were able to traverse them. It wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, at the top, visibility was like 15 feet.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
For normal people, that's like 5 meters.
Yes, 5 meters. Excuse me. 3 meters. But it was rough. And we had also still had the fact that none of us had snow gloves. So everybody's hands are just frozen. Because the main thing with the gloves that we did have, they can keep your hands warm in regular cold environments. But we had all noticed on Krabi that none of them block wind. And on this mountain, there was a lot of wind.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just want to put to our defense so people don't feel like we're idiots for going up these mountains without these gloves. We have gone to every hiking store, every sports store in Albania, Montenegro and Bosnia by this stage to actually see if anyone sold gloves, and they all had women's gloves, as in like too small, and also children's gloves, but never had any man-size snow gloves. It's the end of season.
Yeah, they're in a box out the back.
We went to a place that had full ski gear, goggles, ski jackets, ski pants, ski boots, no gloves.
I guarantee somebody in the comments is gonna be like, you should have gone to Intersport.
We went to every Intersport. One Intersport said they had them in a box out the back. I'm like, can you please go get them for us? I'm happy to buy them. And she's like, no. And I'm like, what?
They're in a box. I can't.
She's like, they're in a box at the back. I'm like, just. And it was live on stream. And if I wasn't streaming, I would have probably pushed it pretty hard. No, as in like I would have been like,
Listen here.
I would have been like, no, like we really need these gloves.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to come across rude.
He said push her. I was like, please.
Give me the gloves!
No, like, because I've remembered how cold my hands were.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sucked. I don't want to go up another snow cap with that. But yeah, so anyway.
We made it to the top.
Yeah.
We got in there. The door froze shut.
I know. Dekie pissed right at the door.
We all froze the door.
We all froze the door shut. We got out. I cut my finger trying to open the door. That was fun. We got out. I loved it. It was like, all right, we're going to get out. We're going to take photos as quick as we can. And we're going to go. Which was like, go. Quick, group. Tried to make it look like we were having a great time. Which is like, hurry the fuck up. Take the photos. Let's go.
I keep thinking back to that. Like, if that shack wasn't there, how quick we would have gone to the top and gotten back.
All right,
Let's go, guys.
Because we sat in that box for like a good 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was bliss. We probably sat in there longer because we got frozen in.
On the way down.
On the way down.
Me and Dekie were fueled by hypothermia. We were motoring.
The thing is, it was still below visibility and we couldn't see which track you'd take. Yeah. We're like, slow down.
And all I could, because my goggles had frozen over at this point, because snow obviously freezing, but all I could see was Michael's blue blob through my goggles, and I couldn't see where my feet were going either. So I was kind of just like walking like this. Just like,
You guys are making fun of me about not having goggles. I could see for the 20 feet, but my entire face had become ice. My eyes were like frozen open.
on the way down though, like as soon as my goggles got to the point where I went, I have to be able to see, this is going to get too dangerous. I actually moved my goggles down so it was just below my eyes. And my mouth was kind of filling it. That protected all the wind from hitting my face besides my eyes. And the wind was coming from behind me.
Yeah.
So I could see perfectly for a while. And I was like, this is amazing.
It was nice to have the wind behind you. It didn't feel like there were people pushing you back every step, which was nice. Got down eventually. Your knees was flared up quite a lot.
I actually hyperextended my left knee pretty badly. And I was worried that
Flared it up from a gung.
Yes.
Yeah.
and so which are hyperextended on a goal. So old age is a bitch, and so now I'm a little bit more cautious. I've got a knee brace for the next one, so when we go down, I'm going to wear the knee.
Hungary's going to be our biggest test.
No, Hungary's fine. 500 meters, 30 minutes. But yeah, honestly, I think I don't know where we are at the moment, but I'm actually kind of curious. Maybe we should just fly to Malta for a couple of days.
We stick with the plan we have
Currently of Hungary.
of where we do more mountains than we'd anticipate.
No, I think we still do.
And we redo mountains.
I still think we do the Zarklada and Mount Krabi, but I'm saying that we might just need a couple of days just to make sure this knee's good before we push it.
Where we will discuss the plan. Every day we have different theories of which direction.
Every day the plan changes.
Yeah, I've got a new plan for trip 2 as well. So
Yes. So excited.
We said it was going to be a very fluid trip and that dates were loose.
we're doing the path very similar. It's just more of when do we leave, when do we come.
It's going to get mixed up at the end when we go back.
Yeah.
We're doing a P instead of an O now.
So we defeated Dinara.
We did.
Our first dub.
It was a big triumph.
It was.
It was. And in fact, we
We were all giggling up there. We were euphoric. We were feeling great.
were frozen.
Giggling. I think all of us in our head were just, I think there was a moment where we were just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
What did we just do? It was like, holy shit, we survived that. So
And then we came to Zagreb.
Zagreb.
You know the coolest part about Zagreb?
the illusion?
People.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, the people. Yeah. Who were the people? We had a big community catch up.
We did.
It was a big community. That was great.
Yeah.
That really was.
Did anyone count how many? Because it was a lot.
It was over 10.
It was over 10.
We made bets on how many people would show up and Jared won.
I said 5.
I said 9.
You said 8.
So more than 10.
Which is, you should have just a single number rather than just saying more than
We could
10.
have just said 10 and still would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the neutral person in this, I've got my opinion.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, people were really lovely. Caught up with Eroctic and the dev. Eroctic?
A rock tick.
Yeah. And then also the devs from, or one of the devs from Scum, which we're going to go visit their studio today.
So excited.
Yeah, it should be cool.
Let's go
I'm
there.
going to see a lot of cock sliders. In Scum, you can adjust the size of your...
Penis.
Scum is a game,
And
just so you're aware.
yeah, we did some live streaming around the city, had a day off, went and saw John Wick, which we're going to speak about in a lot of depth in our BPB today.
A lot of depth.
A lot of depth. We might even touch on Avatar too.
I think we should also do our Avatar too, but I've already forgotten a lot of it. So,
It's all right.
Yeah.
but yeah, if you do enjoy the podcast and you want to support us and what we're doing in our journey, the Patreon is the best way of doing it. Like and commenting, it also helps, and share it with friends if you think they'd enjoy it. But to help keep this going long term, Patreon support is exceptional, and you'll get to see extra length of the podcast.
Before we end this, what about the drivers here in Zagreb?
Yeah, don't get a taxi or an Uber here. Fuck that.
They're
Aggressive.
aggressive with their driving.
And not like... There's like aggressive controlled driving that a lot of people do in cities. Like that's very much a thing. You just got to be hyper aware and smart.
Angry.
Yeah, they're angry and they're not really that aware. They're ready to run over dogs.
Yeah, we did see a couple next to us with the guy looked like he was either being broken up
Right
with.
when we got it.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
He was just sitting there like, it was great.
And he was yelling at the start, and then he just went silent.
Yeah,
You know, it's bad when they're silent.
yeah.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for supporting the podcast. We're doing the BPBs right after this. That will be up on the Patreon. And next podcast will probably be filmed in,
Roughly 7 days, where a whole bunch of more shit will happen.
I'd say Romania.
Oh, we're going to have a lot to talk about there.
Yes, we will.
If we survive that mountain, there'll be another episode out.
And if I don't know, we might even have flown to Malta.
Thanks, guys.
Before death.